Welcome to the 16th Annual Intergenerational Estate Planning Conference. It's great to be back in person. It's the first one that we've done in the city here since we kind of reopened, and we're very grateful that all of you could be here today. But for those of you out there in Webland, we want to welcome you as well to our 16th Annual. So today we're going to talk about a case study. Our speakers and panelists have done a tremendous job putting in time and work to craft a fact pattern that will illustrate many of the issues that you're all facing today in your practices. First, we have some housekeeping. The slides for today, if you're not here, if you're here, you got a hard copy, but if you're not, then the slides are available to you on the website. And you can find them at pierrolaw.com resources. For you accountants, for CPAs, remember to fill out your CPA CE credit form and turn that in before you leave today so that we can give you your 4 hours of CPA credits or CPE credits, courtesy of Ray Shendi Malter and our speaker, Mitch Sorkin. Thank you, Mitch. And we also want to alert you in advance that we take this blue form very seriously. This is our evaluation form. So as we go throughout the day, if you could rate our speakers, the program, and the topics, and let us know for next year, because we hope to do the 17th Annual live and in person again. Let us know what kinds of things you want to hear about. We tried to take current topics today, but as many of you know, the current topics have shifted considerably. The legislation, the Build Back Better Act, could we do grantor trust, could we not do grantor trust? So up until 2 weeks ago, the program was very fluid, but once that bill was revised, we took a definite fact pattern, and we'll lay that out for you today. But if you could let us know what you would like to hear and turn those in as well before you leave today, that would be greatly appreciated. So we have a great panel of sponsors and speakers, and we'd like to thank our sponsors. You know, due to inflation, we had to double the cost for you all for this seminar today. And you know, runaway inflation, we haven't had that in a long time, and here we are running it great rates. So our sponsors have been very generous. They have subsidized the cost of this program, and we want to thank them and give them a round of applause to start the day for making this all possible. And we'd also like to thank the Union League Club. This is one of my favorite rooms and facilities for hosting us here this morning. So our speakers, we'll introduce them as we go. This is our law firm, our attorneys. We have some of them here today, Anthony Kachui and Hannah Dameron. If you guys could stand up. If you work with our firm, you'll be working, and some of you are already working with Anthony and Hannah. And we're very happy to have them as our associates here in the New York City office. Thank you. You may sit. And you'll see some of the other folks, Karen and Peter, will be speaking, along with Teresa Skane on corporate issues. And this is the list of speakers. I'm not going to go in depth into bios in my introductions. You have a set of materials in addition to your slides that looks like this with the New York City skyline, and in there is a description of each of our speakers for today. So without any further ado, let's meet Greg and Naomi. This is a couple that met, modern couple, right? They met on a dating site. They were both divorced. They both had children in their 20s, and so they have a relationship that they've had now for 10 years. They haven't gotten married. They've chosen to stay single. And the kids, 20 to 27, will meet in a moment, but they don't have any planning, and this is not atypical. We see people all the time. They're just very busy. Naomi has her own business she's been working on. Greg is an engineer, and so they don't have anything in place at this point. We're writing on a clean slate in terms of their estate plan. There's a financial disparity in the couple. He's an engineer, but he's worked for the state of New York Department of Transportation. So he has a good salary, he has a good retirement pension, his deferred comp plan with New York State, but he is not a wealthy individual. So he has issues, two children, but Naomi has been very successful. She has degrees in engineering, BS in computer science from NYU, and MS in computer engineering from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And she started her own company several years ago, which is an internet-based company in the gaming industry. And she has been very successful. Gaming is a very popular industry these days. You may have encountered it in your own practices. So she has a company we are going to call Phantom's Nest. And Phantom's Nest is a gaming company she founded 6 years ago, having worked in the industry for other people. She is a minority and women-owned business because in her early development of the company, she had naval contracts where she was doing actually gaming and video for the Navy. So she has MWBE credits or certification. She sells online games, and she took out a PPP loan in 2020 of $1 million, and we're going to deal with that PPP loan. Her business is starting to thrive and take off. She's had some games that have really hit the market strong. Her sales are up, and they're looking at this company having a very, very significant growth trajectory. So we have a rapidly growing business that has value now, but will have significant value, we think, in the future. She's gotten inquiries, as all successful businesses do, from private equity firms who have come to her and said, we're interested in your company. She is not ready to sell or exit the business in the near future. So we're going to keep the business for now, and this is a plan for future development and transition. Meet the kids. Naomi has a son, Jason, 27, and a daughter, Julie, 25. Greg has sons, 22, and a daughter, Sarah, 20. Being the parent of three 20-somethings, I know what those challenges are, and the kids are doing fine, except Thomas is now in the business. He went to a camp when he was 12, fell in love with gaming, and has now taken up in Naomi's business, but he is Greg's son. So we have Greg's son in Naomi's business, building it and helping her build the business, and we're going to need to deal with those issues. Naomi's son, Jason, is on the autism spectrum, and Jason is living in a group home right now, and he has SSI and Medicaid, and that's, as we're going to hear from Peter Strauss, in many cases necessary to live in that group home. So we want to maintain those benefits for him in a very complicated fact pattern. They each have a parent. Naomi's dad, George, was also an engineer. He's 84, he's in excellent health, and he is worth about $4.5 million. He is retired, enjoying his life. Greg's mother, Mavis, is 86. She lives up in Schenectady, New York. She's in declining health. She's in need of home health care. And so we're going to need to take care of Mavis and look at ways that we can provide for her with regard to this plan and Greg's estate planning. So there's just a little flow chart of the kids and the parents and Naomi and Greg. That's our family that we're going to be talking about. Naomi has income of about $1 million right now. Greg has a salary of about $120. Assets, she owns a home in Bedford where they live. They have a small mortgage on it. Phantom's Nest got valued at about $18 million in a 2019 valuation. She has liquid assets of $800,000, small amount of life insurance, $500,000 with a cash value of $80, and then another life insurance policy, term for 20 years, purchased in 2015, and a 401k of $2.5 million from her past employment. So that's her picture. On Greg's side, much simpler. He has his deferred comp, which has grown to about $2 million. He has a condo in Vermont near Stratton at $475 and liquid assets of about $150,000. They're planning concerns. Unsure how much the business is worth and how that business is going to grow, and looking at tax law changes, looking at the existing estate tax, and as we all know, 2025, we have the sunset of the Trump tax cuts. So we have the increase in the taxes and the exemption going from 11.7 today down to 5 million adjusted for inflation. So they've read about this and they're concerned that this business is going to escalate in value and that they're going to have substantial estate tax concerns. Worried about the economy, inflation, the pandemic. We're all going through this, a lot of anxiety in our clients, worried about expected tax changes, and concerned about their lack of planning. And how many clients come into us and sit down and say, I should have done this 10 years ago. So the time to plan is now. And we're going to take up Naomi and Greg's goals, come up with a plan, build a team, secure their financial future, create business succession plan, provide for Mavis and Jason But one of the key components here, as in many plans, she's the business owner. She wants her children to benefit from the value of the business, even though it's Greg's son who may someday take it over. So all that has to be woven in to the plan that we create, looking at the plan for future generations. How will they meet these goals? How will we put that plan together? And one question that faces a couple like this, should they get married? And I have a lot of clients, one in particular that I can think of, that he and his wife have been together. She changed her name to his name. They have 2 kids that are now in their 20s. They've been living as husband and wife, but never legalized it. Never got married. And we've had this conversation several times, and you have to weigh out the pluses and the minuses. So we're going to talk about that in the context of their planning